75 years ago today, the 2nd of September 1945, the Japanese government officially surrendered in World War II. VJ Day turned out to be the end of the bloodiest contest human beings have ever fought.
The terms and conditions upon which surrender of the Japanese imperial forces is here to be given and accepted are contained in the instrument of surrender now before you.
It was a war that began for the United States at Pearl Harbor shortly after dawn on Sunday, December 7th, 1941.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
That surprise attack devastated the backbone of the Pacific Fleet tied up at Battleship Row in Pearl Harbor. Nearly 3,000 Americans dead and wounded. Our powerful Pacific Surface Fleet nearly wiped out. The island's aviation assets, mostly at Hickam Field, in smoking ruins. Though devastating, the Japanese attack wasn't a total victory. Admiral Yamamoto's pilots missed the Pearl Harbor submarine base and failed to destroy millions of gallons of precious fuel. Most importantly, the Pacific Fleet carriers were at sea in an exercise and were unscathed. A day later, President Franklin Roosevelt asked Congress to declare war on the Empire of Japan.
No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
While rescue and salvage operations were still underway at Pearl Harbor, tens of thousands of volunteers were lining up at recruiting stations all over America. People wanted to serve their country. It took a bloody island-hopping campaign across the Pacific Ocean and the only 2 nuclear weapons ever used in war to end the bloodiest contest in human history on the deck of the USS Missouri at anchor in Tokyo Bay.
The issues involving divergent ideals and ideologies have been determined on the battlefields of the world, and hence are not for our discussion or debate. Let us pray that peace be now restored to the world, and that God will preserve it always.
The awful price of American victory in World War II is on display here at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, just a few miles from Pearl Harbor. It's known as the Punch Bowl because of its shape. This is the final resting place for 34,000 American heroes. None of these Americans interred here or elsewhere wanted to die in the defense of freedom. The 400,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, and Marines sold their lives dearly in epic battles during 1,366 days from Pearl Harbor to VJ Day. They were willing to do their duty with courage and perseverance, qualities that require us to honor their legacy. Today, that same sense of duty and self-sacrifice inspires another generation of brave Americans willing to go into harm's way to protect us all. Now retired from service, the USS Missouri is a national treasure, a perfect bookend for those who come to pay tribute to those entombed in the USS Arizona, just off the battleship's bow. For all she represents, American strength and resolve, this is a 60,000-ton reminder that sometimes defending freedom takes more than just talk. Sometimes we have to have the big guns back it up.